Applying for a job is a bit like internet dating. 3 months of any new role is just like being in a washing machine. It's not just to put your CV out there, tell everybody what we want to do, and then just sit back and wait for the offers to come in.
How should you be different from the first date to the second date?
You've got 10 seconds to make a first impression. You need to be honest on your CV, and you turn up and you're nothing like it. All credibility is gone.
Everyone's in for a shock, right?
Exactly. Hi, my name is Julie Booth and I'm the Chief Operating Officer for NEC Software Solutions. We employ 4,500 people across the world, and this is my Duvet flip. You've come for your first interview and you really like them. You don't sit back and wait for them to get in touch again.
Julie, we're there on the dating analogy, so let's just own it, right? Have you seen The Intern?
Yes, I love that. See, that would be me in a few years' time.
What does it all mean, Julie? CEO, CFO, COO,
Loads of C's. No, don't say that. Start somewhere. Back to the dating
Keep swiping,
analogy.
go on one date and see what it's all about. What's your duvet flip? What gets you out of bed in the morning to flip the duvet?
Oh gosh.
So Julie, thank you so much for joining us on My Duvet Flip.
You're welcome.
We met, when did we meet? 2022?
Yes, it was.
It was January 2022.
Yep.
We had a brilliant conversation.
You use the phrase quite a lot, which is about being curious.
Do you think the country's curious enough?
No. So many people said to me, what did I want to do when I left college? What job did I want? You're really blessed if you have this big career path. And I didn't. I didn't have that burning passion. But what I did have was a curiosity to go and see what was available. Well, you know, when you go for a job and they say, and where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And I hated it because I genuinely didn't know, and I always felt that I was lacking because I didn't know, because I didn't have that plan. I was always ambitious, so I always wanted to know where I could go to next. I always used to beat myself up because if you're going for an interview for a high-powered job or whatever, I felt like I needed to have all the answers.
If you're in an interview, we was in an interview right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and I said to you, which I would never do that. One, I wouldn't want to mess with you. Two, I would never ask this question in a modern age. But if I said to you, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Because it's still out there, that question.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
How would you respond to that question? Because to me, I would have to be a bit authentic and go, well, I don't even know what I'm going to have for breakfast tomorrow.
See, and I love that answer because actually when you go for an interview, it's a two-way process. If somebody came to an interview and I asked them the question, and I don't because it's a question that I really hate, then I think your answer would be perfect. If you do have a passion to do something, then it's absolutely okay in a job interview to say, 5 years' time, I want my five-a-side football team to have won more than 3 games in a row. And I remember answering that question years ago and actually saying, I just want to be happy. And then I beat myself up because was that the right answer? Was it not the right answer? But again, that doesn't matter, does it? Because it was my answer. It was my answer. My interesting fact is that I've once been to the Bahamas, but not for a rest or a holiday, but for work. So I got that job when I was 16 and I stopped there when I was 21. You know, from the girl that went in at 16 that wouldn't say boo to a goose, to then being quite comfortable chatting with whoever was coming in. I made it to the heady echelons of the perfume department. And I felt really important, and it was just lovely to be able to unpick the mystery of the perfume that they'd bought their wife last year that was in a black box with a red top.
What is your advice to get on with people?
So someone once told me to be a radiator and not a drain. So if you break that down, a radiator is someone who's giving outwards, who's being open, being consistent, but being genuine, rather than someone who is just sucking all of the goodness out of an environment and bringing everybody down. You don't have to get on with someone in order to work with them. And you don't have to get on with somebody in order to respect them. You're not going to go on holiday with them. You don't have to socialise with them outside of work. So if you're going to react to them and go down to their level, well then you've lost out really.
When was the turning point for you to go, maybe it's not them, maybe it's me on how I need to kind of respond?
It's very easy when you've got less experience and when you've had less opportunities to interact with different people. And I have this massive view that if your horizon is your bedroom window or the lounge, then you just don't see what else is out there. And I don't think you can be what you can't see. You have to be there and you have to be seeing it. The thing that came to me is that I think that applying for a job is a bit like internet dating. So it's not just to put your CV out there, tell everybody what we want to do, and then just sit back and wait for the offers to come in. You need to be honest on your CV, because as soon as you turn up just with a date, if you've described yourself as a certain age, height, whatever else, and you turn up and you're nothing like it, all credibility is gone.
Everyone's in for a shock, right?
Exactly, and you're not going to go any further. And I've heard you say this before as well. You know, if you found someone, you found the job, they think that they like you, you're going to go on your first date. Your first date's your interview. There's differences, isn't there? Some people say you've got 10 seconds to make a first impression. Now, there's also a school of thought that says you've got less than a second before people start to make their mind up about you. So have a think about before you go on your first date, on your interview.
So talking about applying for a job is a bit like dating.
Internet dating, yeah.
How should you be different from the first date to the second date? So from the first interview to the second interview, or should you?
Most organisations will use their first interviews as a sifting process. Think of it on your dating profile. You've decided that you quite like the look of a number of people, so you're going to go on your first date, which is quite superficial. You're just checking each other out. Have they got the qualifications? Do you think they'll fit in? Have they got the ambition? The second interview is a bit like your cooling off period. Gone in, I've had a look. This is really a two-way street. Backing up and solidifying those initial first impressions. So should you say the same thing again? Absolutely.
So if I said I was a singer on a date, and then on the second date I told her that I wasn't a singer, she would be like, hold on a minute.
It takes a lot of courage to be yourself, quite like the dating analogy, because it's about compatibility. And some people are just not compatible with each other, and some businesses are not for some people, and some people are not for some businesses. Think of the dating analogy again, though. You've come for your first interview and you really like them. You don't sit back, do you, and wait for them to get in touch again. You get in touch and you follow up. Yeah. That's really important. There's just loads of applications. You need to stand out. By getting back in touch and showing that you care, you've already made a massive step towards standing out. NEC Software Solutions offer a wide breadth of solutions to the public safety, health, central, local government and housing marketplaces. But that diversity means that someone could use our application to be awarded a blue badge. And then the same day, they could easily get a parking ticket or a speeding fine by someone else using a different one of our applications. Both are ideal things or necessary things, but one is obviously much nicer than the other.
Sticking on the dating analogy, because we're there, Julie, we're there on the dating analogy, so let's just own it, right? Gone on a date, which is the interview.
The interview,
And you've just said, if you like the individual, follow up.
Yeah.
What does that mean? When should I follow up? When's too soon? What should I say?
Follow up doesn't necessarily have to mean that the person that you're contacting has to do anything. So they're too busy, they might be going away. That's an excuse. Because it costs nothing to send an email saying, I know that you're going to go away and you're out of the country for the next 2 weeks. I'd just love to say how wonderful it was to meet the business. I'm really excited for this opportunity. We'd offered someone a job. So they'd done all of the stuff, they got through, they'd had their second date, we were going to go permanent, we were going to be a thing. And they asked if they could come in. It showed a level of commitment and maturity from them, and they wanted to understand. Again, it's compatibility, isn't it?
And you know what? You're now here talking about that individual.
Yes.
They've set the standard.
Yeah.
They've started to build their internal brand, haven't they?
They have.
Personal brand at that organisation.
Yeah, you can't do that online. We're not going to put them on a screen in the corner of the room and expect them to understand how we operate, what the office looks and feels like.
How long do you think until people who's watching us understand that we're actually in different rooms right now?
No, don't say that. We just happen to bring the same cups in. It's all part of the process.
Can you imagine? What does it all mean, Julie? Because you see these job descriptions, don't you? You go CEO, CFO, COO, they can go on.
Loads of C's.
Yeah.
If you want a job at a higher level, then by and large, you need a broad range of skills. So if you want to be a high-flying head of a sales team, well, then you need to have managed field salespeople, internal salespeople. You need to know how to do commission schemes. So nobody's going to go in and all of a sudden get a C-suite, a chief role, just start somewhere.
Back to the dating analogy.
Back to the dating
Keep
analogy.
swiping, go on one date and see what it's all about.
Exactly.
Because your second date, your third date will get better.
Yeah. By the way, I always think the first 3 months of any new role is just like being in a washing machine, because you're sort of turned around and don't really know what to do.
You're clearly ambitious.
Yeah.
If you want to build a tower, you can build a tower and you can make your tower the tallest without tearing anyone else's tower down. How can we bring back the kindness and, you know what, bring people with you, because you know what, on the way down, people will help you lift you up.
And even this morning, so I got coffee from the little hut in the train station, and we have a lovely chat every day, and it's just heartwarming. It's not the cheapest coffee in the whole world.
Is it small micro business?
Yeah, it is. It's a two-man business, and I come away with my heart lifted as much as they do. For me, I get more pleasure out of seeing someone else do well than maybe I do for myself.
What would you say was your best financial decision that you made? And that could be something like, I kept all my pay slips and that made it easier for me to get a mortgage. Like, what is something that...
Okay, there's always this thing with careers that you've got to move up and be paid more all the time. And if you want to have a broader career, sometimes you have to move sideways, and sometimes that move doesn't bring any more money. And that's not bad. That's okay, because what you're not necessarily getting in an increased salary today, you will get tomorrow. There's been a lot of research done, hasn't there, that if you get a big salary increase, then it makes you happy for a period of time. If you get a job that is fulfilling, that feeds your soul, that feeds the very essence of you, then you sustain that happiness a significantly longer period.
Sometimes that might mean taking a sidestep to actually then progress in the future,
Exactly.
which might mean not more money.
Yeah. Another interesting fact is that we analyse thousands of pieces of information on NHS implants, which means that our database looks at information relating to your head, your shoulders, your knees, but not your toes.
What's your worst financial decision you've made?
Oh gosh. Probably blowing a lot of money on a handbag, which I thought I needed, which is probably why I can say that, you know...
After wearing Devils Wear Prada.
You sort of look back and think, really, did I need to do that?
Did you feel good wearing it though?
Temporarily, yeah. Yeah,
temporarily.
I did. Temporarily, yeah.
Decide whether you actually need a Gucci handbag, or whether you can deal with the one that you've got, or go for something that's less than X amount.
Yeah.
And my final question, are you ready?
Yep.
What's your duvet flip? What gets you out of bed in the morning to flip the duvet?
I work for a business, and our strap line is that we make a difference every day. The software and solutions that we sell help some of the most vulnerable in society at a real time of need. Our software deals with 999 calls coming in. So we've just introduced a piece of software which will automatically translate. So if the caller doesn't speak English, it could have taken 20 minutes to find a translator. Now we can communicate with that person
and
immediately.
Translate it directly.
Translate it directly.
And is that both ways?
Both ways.
Wow,
so we can
that's
now
cool.
have a proper conversation with people at their time
So
of need.
it can translate my Essex.
Good that I work for an organisation that feels that need. But for me, it's about the team of people around me and me seeing them develop. The joy in seeing who's going to come up and what can I do to help them to progress. I know when we spoke, and we spoke to you specifically because we've got a working age issue in our business. We had 4 times as many young people join us last year than the year before. And to see that plan come through, to see those young people start to take their first steps. I'm blessed to be able to see a couple of our apprentices, and to see the growth in them as human beings is the best feeling in the world.
Well, I just want to say thank you for giving your energy, your time today. We've had a laugh. It's been good.
It's been good.
It's not as scary as you thought, right?
No.
It's fine.
Well, you're terrifying. No,
I know.
I'm not.
Well, you are terrifying. And I remember our first call. I was like, you know what? I'm normally confident. I was like, bloody hell. Have you seen The Intern?
Yes, I love that. See, that'll be me in a few years' time. I'll go and be somebody's intern.
Well, remember, it's like dating. But just thank you, Julie, so much. With all
It's
my
been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.